Hi. The other day I made a video on how a few countries have been topping the list of exporters. Now, it's not a secret that India has always had trade deficits. Its import has always been higher than its export. Although India's condition is not completely comparable to the Western countries because their population is less, they are capital driven, so obviously their industries, their manufacturing units are more capital intensive. However, there's a lot of similarity between Chinese economy and India's economy. There are big differences as well, of course. It's a much bigger country as far as the area is concerned, and there are cultural differences as well. There is a difference in how the labor operates. What's the mix of gender, the gender mix involved in the industry, in the manufacturing sector. Nevertheless, it is easier in any case for India to analyze Chinese economy and pick up the things that it can, and of course never forget that we already have an edge. I'll substantiate what I'm saying with an example. All of you, any one of you basically, who's gone for Chinese product, I mean, I have no hesitation in saying it's very poor in quality, extremely poor in quality. However, they are so cheap, they are so much within the reach of the poorest of poor. I'll give you an example of a shop that I went to, and there was this lady who had come to buy women's socks, and the Indian product was at least 70 to 80 rupees. This was the range. And the Chinese socks, it costed 20. Now there's a big difference. This lady had 40 bucks, so she bought two pairs of socks. I was there and I compared the quality of the material that the socks were made of. Indian product was far better. It was way better than Chinese product, and it was more comfortable. It was cotton based. It seemed to last longer. However, the people, since we have a lot of people in our country that are not, that who cannot afford to buy expensive stuff, so they go for the Chinese products. And even if people can afford, there is always a tilt towards buying a more economical product. So the difference between India's product and the Chinese product is the cost of production of the Chinese product, which is much lesser than the Indian product. And since the cost of production of our in our manufacturing units is much higher, we end up we end up selling our products, integrating a certain profit margin, which makes the markup price much higher. And obviously there are not much buyers for that. So this is going to be a short video of what came to my mind, and that is the cost of production. I have done my research on food industry and transport industry, and all of us, or many of us, would know that each manufacturing unit, the basic cost depends on labor and capital. And since Indian manufacturing units are more labor intensive, the cost of production would go lower, can be decreased if the administration puts in money into providing housing, some kind of a discount on food, and integrate women in the manufacturing sector. In the Chinese manufacturing sector, the only thing that stood out was integration of women who diligently work, who are looking for jobs, and there's no dearth of such women in India as well. And anyone would settle for maybe lesser salary if they are provided with some kind of a housing facility, some kind of a discount on their food expenses, and of course when women are given some respectable employment. Women have proved their diligence, they have proved their skill, and of course training can always be an ongoing feature both for men and women, and their salaries, their remuneration should depend on how much, not just their marginal product or how much are they able to produce in a day, but also how much innovation they can suggest in the process of manufacturing. So I guess, as I said, it's going to be a short video, something that I wanted to share. And if housing is put money into, is how housing is invested into by the administration, it's also going to be a kind of a public investment or a stimulus of sorts, which will in any case have a multipliers effect. I guess that should be it for now. Bye bye.